What's going on? Today is a short vlog. I just wanted to tell you a story. I got a new hat. It has a hole in it, which is kind of exciting. I have, you may not know this, I have this hat, and then I have this hat, which is the same exact hat. And then I have this hat also, which is the same exact hat, but in red. I really like that hat, so I bought 3 of them. It's interesting because when I was younger, I would really prioritize, like, what was maybe cheaper. And, like, I totally wasn't against, hey, you know, if, like, this costs $5 less, let's just buy the cheaper one. Because I was always very money conscious. I think that, you know, my parents probably instilled that in me. So anyways, I would just buy the cheaper one, right? But, like, now, I think I have a greater respect for kind of just real artisanship and the quality of the products that I use. And if I have the opportunity to, like, pay a little more for something that's really good, then I will. Like, I hate bad pens, and I use a pen all the time because I'm a student and I have to write a lot. So what I did was I just found my favorite pen, and I just looked it up online, and I bought like 5 of them. And so now I just use that pen pretty much only. As, like, I don't know, that's like a principle, I think. If you, like, really like the creator of something, then just buy a lot of it. It doesn't apply for everything, I guess. Okay, so anyways, here's the story. I recently finished the Checklist Manifesto, which is a short book. 6 hours, which is pretty good, right? Because most books are about 9, maybe 10. Moby Dick is like a strong 18, so that one's been a bit slower. But, you know, you're reading that for different reasons. Holy cow, they're like bombing outside. It's really loud. I hope that's not coming up on the video. But, so here's the story, okay? So it's the Checklist Manifesto, and this guy is testifying why is the checklist the best thing ever, right? Why is it revolutionizing all these things? And he gives a lot of examples related to flight captains who have taken the checklist and really made a big difference there. And he's a surgeon, so he applies a lot of the checklist to his own work and his work with the World Health Organization. Okay, but this particular story is about a band called Van Halen. And Van Halen is a rock band in a sense, and they, to the credit of the story, would give big shows. Okay, some of the biggest shows in the industry from Van Halen. When most bands would have 4 trailers, Van Halen had 9 trailers, which was a really big deal because there's so much equipment, everything has to be done right. And if things are done wrong, then the band members going on this huge stage production have a serious risk of injury, and they could get really hurt if things aren't done the way they need to be done. So they have a checklist. Okay, when they go to the show, they give the people a checklist of all the things they need to complete. And one of the things on the checklist, written small, right, a secret little section, it says that in the bowl of M&Ms that is to be delivered to the lead, I think, drummer, there can be no brown M&Ms. And it's like a really, really pedantic request, right? It's like, maybe not pedantic, like it's really like specific, right? It's like stupid, almost. It's frivolous, this idea that he cannot eat brown M&Ms. But the reality of it is that he doesn't, it's a trick. It's, the M&Ms doesn't matter. They only put that in the list to make sure they read the whole thing and to make sure that everything is done well. And so what they do is they said, if each clause is not met, we will leave. We will not perform at the venue. And on more than one occasion, they showed up and there was brown M&Ms in the bowl, and they left. They did not perform. And, you know, I think it comes across as like a superstar, like, being, like, really ridiculous, right? That he has to have this certain kind of M&Ms. But, like, he's actually doing it for his safety. And he found that in one of the times that he asked for no brown M&Ms, and there was a brown M&M, they looked at the stage and they figured out that it wasn't done correctly, and that if they got on it, it would have collapsed at some point within the show. So really interesting in the way they set that up. It reminds me of Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point, wherein he references a soap company, I believe, and on the soap company product, the soap bar, in the little packaging it comes in, it says, if you have any questions, call us, which is another trick in the same vein, I think, because in this case, nobody is going to call the phone number on a soap side, right? Soap is like such an intuitive thing. Who the hell needs questions related to soap or how it's used, right? But what they found is, and let's see, I think Malcolm Gladwell labels this something like a trap for the most highly engaged users. It's the people who call who are the most invested in your product, right? It's the people who are the trendsetters, who are going to tell all their friends like what kind of soap they use, right? These like total weirdos that command an industry. And the idea is to set these little traps for them so that if they call and they're like, hey, I'm doing a review on your soap or like some bullshit like that, right? Like it's like, holy cow, this guy cares. And in an industry where nobody has, there's not, in an industry where there's not a lot of influencers, one influencer has a big influence, if that makes sense. So really, really interesting. I think those two examples in parallel teach us a lot about how we can look at users and maybe design methodologies for success, whether that's finding out who's super highly engaged or who's paying attention, or maybe something in between. Yeah, so some cool ideas. I totally recommend both of those books. They're awesome. I think Gladwell's is not as awesome, but the checklist is nice, right? It's fucking sharp and crunchy, which is good. I think the beginning was too long. There was a lot of opening exposition, which I think I understand, right? It's very dangerous to maybe it's brave, it's uncomfortable to write a book that's like really short, right? I remember there's like this military pamphlet called something like Sea Warfare or something like that. It's like a very famous pamphlet that you give to your Marines and stuff, and it has really awesome stuff, but it's so short. It's like a 5-page thing or something ridiculous like that, but it's amazing. It's like really, really well written, and like everybody reads it. So everybody in the military, anyways. Rather than Sun Tzu and his epic, right? Okay. I hope you're having a great day. Tom, I hope you're just living it up out there in Europe, or wherever you are right now. And Scott, I'm having a ball working on this game with you, dude. It's been super awesome to just sit down and code. And to anybody who's interested, I'm getting on top of my work. It's really important that I don't get comfortable, because that's when things slip out of hand. So that's another consideration. And I'm gonna go read some comics with Amy. I'm excited about that. It should be fun. Cheers.